Okay, so the audio should be working fine on this one because the wrong mic was chosen. Fun with technicality. So to get back to what we were talking about in part one was this fawning freeze response that we tend to do, and then we absorb the opinion of someone else. We have to get rooted back in our body. We got to help the nervous system regulate down that anxiety so that the brain can then kick in its awareness and go, oh, this isn't me. This is a situation. What do I think about it? What do I feel about it? And start responding to what's going on rather than absorbing what's happening. Okay. So we need to resolve the trauma by either, I use the closure technique, other people use EMDR. EMDR is like a laser scalpel. Closure technique's more like, let's shift the whole thing, that kind of thing. At least that's the responses I'm getting from people who've done both, because there's value in both processes. And ultimately, regulating the nervous system gets us calmer. We've got to do that. That first step, stroking the palm lightly, clearly, that kind of thing, it's going to get you there really, really quick. And then the other tools in the Calm system will help you do that. So, all right. The other aspect of this is it's very natural for us to absorb other people's expectations because we're not rooted in our sense of self. We're not rooted in our being, in our body. We're what's called externally oriented. And we've got to work that out by becoming internally oriented. And that is a question process. It says, what do I think about this? What do I feel about it? How does my body feel about this experience or this situation or this person or this request? And that's about getting in tune with our impulse awareness. We all have an intuitive sense about what we want and what we don't. To hear that voice, I call it the voice of desire, we have to maximize our attention on ourselves and go, oh, this is me and that's not what I want. This is what I want. That helps us get out of this reactivity of becoming susceptible to other people's suggestions or what we think they want us to be. Okay? So there's some trauma work there and there's a lot of growth work there. HEAL, or the Codependency Confidence, addresses all of that outside of the trauma work itself. The closure technique would be what you'd utilize at that point. So I highly recommend, if you're struggling with this, to get into that and start that process. Addiction to Connection, which is a component of HEAL, will get you even deeper into the experience of knowing yourself, sensing yourself, and being rooted in your body, so you don't have that loss of self or attenuation to you. All right. So excellent question there, by the way, Devin, because that's a big deal. And it's not one that's actually addressed in a whole lot of material around codependency. So I'm going to be doing some writing on that, some more videos on that in the future. Okay. Second one was, is it okay to still be stuck on someone even though they've moved on? And it absolutely is. See, just because a situation has changed doesn't mean we have changed. Doesn't mean we've caught up with it yet. It doesn't mean that we're ready for that. Which means we've got to go through a period of acceptance. And acceptance is really painful because we have to digest what it really is. We have to begin the grieving process, letting go and dealing with the loss, the emptiness, the loneliness that comes with that, and that kind of thing. So it's really important for us to accept where we are, not make ourselves wrong for it. And do we make ourselves wrong for a lot of shit? Let's stop doing that. There's a rightness in our awareness about these things. There's a goodness in it. It's pointing us towards things that we need to be aware of, such as a need or a want or a not want, that kind of thing. So if we are willing to take the time to learn how to listen to ourselves and connect back to us, we're going to gain that insight. And that's part of the brilliance of you. It's part of who you are. And that's why I say it. I don't say these things to be fluffy or for fun marketing gigs. I say them because they're very deliberate. They're very explicit, because it's like, hey, that is what it is. You're brilliant. You are worth knowing, loving, and keeping. I'm very literal about those things. All right, so that is, it's okay to be stuck. Accept it. Give yourself permission. If I could, would I accept that I am still stuck on this person? And that's okay. That's actually going to help you move forward. Okay. So let's see. Iro asks, when do you know it's time to move on from a friend? Well, you'll know it's time to move on from a friend because the experience, the dominant experience of the relationship isn't working for you. It's taking from you, it's draining, somehow it's toxic or deficient. You're no longer interested in investing in the relationship with them. You're ready to go on to something else. And sometimes even none of that's happening. You've just outgrown the relationship or the friendship. That happens. That's human. That's normal. So if that happens, then you move on too. We have a right to end and begin relationships on our accord. We can ask to begin one and we can leave if we're done. So we have that right. We are not obligated to stay with anybody because, we had a commitment with them at some point. We can always change the commitment. All right, so there was another one I wanted to shoot at here. Everybody, does anybody else beat themselves up over not doing things they know they have to do? Yeah, that's a perfectionism thing. Iro, you've got a real strong sense of perfectionism running in the background. I highly recommend starting with Brene Brown's work on the gifts of imperfection and then start giving yourself permission not to measure up to these big shoulds. Yes, you're going to do things you don't like. You're going to be a disappointment to yourself at times and others. We have a right to do that. We have a right to understand the consequence of our choices without the shame, without the guilt, because shame and guilt are not consequences. They're punishments and they're not necessary. What is necessary is receiving or owning the consequence of our choice. It's as simple as that. So if you give yourself permission to not be perfect, but to grow and to experience your life and learn how to do things effectively rather than perfectly, you're going to find a lot of difference in your life, because effectiveness means I got the outcome that was intended. That's all that's really matters. That is all that functionally matters. Perfectionists or controlling people want you to do it a certain way, and not everything has to be done a certain way to get the same result. There are different paths up the mountain. So be a little kinder with yourself. Have a little more compassion on you. Okay? All right. Well, I want to see if there's something else that I wanted to answer here. Oh, yep. Anyone else ever nice so they don't have to deal with adult temper tantrums? Oh, yeah. That was my childhood, teenage years. Because, man, did parents have temper tantrums. The thing with a temper tantrum is it's a very good signal you're dealing with someone who's emotionally immature and likely toxic. So if you can, get yourself out of that situation, because we don't tolerate toxic things. We don't tolerate toxic people. We have a life to live, and that life, it deserves to have quality relationships in it. But yeah, it's a pretty common experience there. All right. So that is today's Q&A, guys. I appreciate you being a part of our family, our community. I appreciate the contributions that you guys are making. We've had a big, nice growth. And I appreciate your trust and your time, your investment in me, allowing me to influence and guide your life. Now, if you're ready to change your life, you're ready to heal that codependency, you're ready to make the leap, join Codependency Confidence and start making that process happen through Heal and the Thrive strategies. Now, if you want to go deep on who you are, so you know what turns you on, what makes life work for you, tap into your magic, then join the Being You Brilliantly mastermind that's coming up. It starts on March 25th. So there's that. You guys have a great day, and I will talk with you in group. Okay. Good night, guys. Bye-bye.